अब बच्चे खुश और मम्मी भी। कारवां मिनी किड्स।
The Crane and the Crab. A wicked crane once lived in a forest. One day, it was standing in the pond, pretending to be sad. The pond's fish asked him, why was he sad? The pond will dry up soon. A drought is coming this way. He lied. The fish was scared. There was a wise crab in the same pond who realized that the crane was trying to fool them. He told the fish not to believe the crane. But the fish had already fallen for the crane's trap. The crane told them that he could take one of them and show him the bigger lake nearby. He then took one fish, showed the bigger lake with more water, and got the fish back. All the fish now wanted to be saved by the crane. The crane was getting closer to his plan. He then took each fish one by one in his mouth. The crane did not take them to the lake. Instead, he took them to a nearby tree, killed them, and ate them. He then hid their bones behind a bush. One by one, he ate all the fish. Now, it was the crab's turn. Since the crab was big for the crane's mouth, he hung on to the crane's neck. The crab held the crane's neck with its claws. On their way, the crab saw the bones of fish. He understood that the crane had eaten all his friends and would eat him too. He immediately choked the crane with his claws. The crane died and fell to the ground. Moral: bad things happen to bad people. The Crocodile and the Brahmin. A crocodile was trapped in a mud once. He asked a Brahmin for help. He asked the Brahmin to carry him to river Ganga. The Brahmin took pity and agreed. He carried the crocodile to the river and was about to release him there. The crocodile immediately tried attacking the Brahmin. He wanted to eat the Brahmin. The Brahmin told him that this was not the way to repay for his help. But the crocodile replied, "You can now eat the person who has helped you to save them. It is a known fact. You should have known it, Brahmin." The Brahmin argued and said that they should see a judge. A passing fox became the judge. The Brahmin narrated the entire story. The fox thought for a while. He then said, "Show me how you picked him from the mud. I want to see how you both reached here." The crocodile agreed. Once they reached the slush, the Brahmin and the fox dumped the crocodile inside the slush. They both ran from there. The fox succeeded in his plan of putting the crocodile back to where it came from. The Crow and the Dove. A crow was once flying in the forest. He suddenly saw a dove sitting on a tree. He was in love with the dove's looks and white feathers. He also thought of becoming like the dove. The crow went and painted himself white and continued flying with pride. However, after a while, the white paint started to come off. Now the crow was left with patches of white on his body. It was looking very funny now. Everyone around him started making fun of him. The crow realized his mistake and never tried copying anyone else again. Moral: always be happy with who you are. The Crow and the Jackal. One day, an old man was sitting under a tree with a piece of bread. As he was about to eat the bread, a hungry crow flew down and snatched it from him. The crow flew away to a tree and sat. The bread was held tightly in her beak. The crow knew the bread would be tasty. At that moment, a jackal saw the crow with the bread. The jackal also wanted to eat the entire bread which the crow had. The jackal came up with a plan to obtain the bread. He went under the tree and started praising the crow. Initially, the crow ignored the jackal. She knew the jackal was not someone she could trust. But the jackal did not give up and continued praising her. Soon, the crow was getting flattered by the sweet words of the jackal. He even told her that she had a lovely voice. He asked her to sing for him. The crow agreed, and as she opened her mouth to croon, the bread piece fell down from her beak. The jackal took the piece and ate it. The crow realized she had been fooled by the jackal. Moral: sweet words are not always true. The Eagle and the Woodcutter. Once upon a time, there lived a very kind woodcutter. One day, on his way back home, he found an eagle caught in a trap. The woodcutter felt bad for the bird and set it free. The eagle was very happy at being saved. It flapped its wings, looked at the woodcutter with gratitude, and flew away. After a few months, one day, the woodcutter was at the top of a hill on a rock. Suddenly, an eagle swooped down and flew with his hat. The man got up immediately with a stone in his hand. He was going to throw the stone at the bird. Suddenly, he heard a loud crash on the hill. He turned and saw that the rock he was sitting on was rolling down the hill. He then looked at the eagle and realized it was the same eagle. The eagle had saved his life today. Moral: don't judge a book by its cover. The Elephant Lajjalu. A gentle king once owned a very shy elephant. The elephant's name was Lajjalu, meaning a shy animal. On one night, a few robbers came around Lajjalu. They were saying, "A thief should always beat everyone. He should not show any mercy." Lajjalu thought to himself that they were trying to advise him and teach him. The next morning, Lajjalu's keeper came to him. Lajjalu picked him up with his strong trunk and threw him. From then, he had become very violent. The king got worried. A priest then told him that a good behavior can be instilled by good company. The king acted quickly on this. He sent Lajjalu in the company of priests and holy men for few days. The priests told him once that they should never hurt anyone. Lajjalu now realized and told himself to listen to his gurus. He followed their good instructions and his behavior changed. He was no longer violent.